All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about Floyd Mayweather Jr. Sending a little message out to the boxers out there like Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. about being great and needing to fight great fighters to be a great fighter, which kind of flies in the face of proclamations by Terence Crawford of already being in the Hall of Fame. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about what Floyd Mayweather Jr. had to say about how to make it into the Hall of Fame, and a question that he ducked regarding Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. But in what he said about the Hall of Fame, the question comes out of whether or not Terence Crawford is correct and what he says about already being in the Hall of Fame. Not necessarily according to what Floyd Mayweather Jr. says, and I'll explain to you that in this video. But before I do, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're a longtime subscriber and supporter to the channel, welcome back. Thank you so much for your support. There is a new way to support the channel, which is you see a little heart below, which says super thanks. If you feel like supporting the channel, it would be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel and are not subscribed, please support this channel by hitting that subscribe button so you can be notified of when we release more videos and talk boxing, which we do on a daily basis. All right, so Floyd Mayweather Jr. was given an interview and was asked about about whether or not he would fight Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Terence Crawford, since he was having more. He announced another, comeback fight. Another exhibition fight. And what he said was he's pretty much going to continue to stay in the ring, continuing to do exhibition fights for however long that's going to be. Would refuse to answer the question, the obvious question though, about whether or not he would fight somebody like Errol Spence or Terence Crawford in a real fight. We know that that's not the case. He's going to stay in these exhibition fights and continue to push it. But one of the illustrative things that he said was that when he was asked about the Hall of Fame, he said, how does it feel to be in the Hall of Fame? You got inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. You just got inducted into the Nevada Hall of Fame. And he said, look, man, he said, I had a great career, fought a lot of great fighters. In order to be a great fighter, you have be a great fighter, you have to beat great fighters, which brings up the question of induction into the Hall of Fame and whether or not Terence Crawford is quite as comfortably in the Hall of Fame as he likes to think that he is, judging by the standards that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is holding. Now, the reason that I think that is important is that one of the reasons that Terence Crawford said that he does not need the Errol Spence Jr. fight was because he could retire now. He's already made it to the Hall of Fame. But if the standard is that in order to be a great fighter, you have to beat great fighters. So the question is, has Terence Crawford actually done that, right? Like if you look at Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s career, you can say, okay, he beat Genaro Hernandez, he beat Jose Luis Castillo, he beat Diego Corrales, he beat Arturo Gatti, he's beaten Oscar De La Hoya, he beat Shane Mosley, he beat Miguel Cotto, right? He beat Canelo Alvarez, and I do believe that is about it as far as the great fighters or fighters that have made it into the Hall of Fame. So then you ask yourself, when you look at Terence Crawford, do you think that that's the case with Terence Crawford? And I look and I'm like, I don't know. And in fact, I don't think Terence Crawford to date has beaten any fighter that is going to be in the Hall of Fame when their career is over. From 135 pounds, you have Ricky Burns and Ray Beltran. Neither one of those guys I consider to be great fighters. Neither were Felix Diaz, Julius Ndungo, Victor Postol. Neither of those were. I mean, none of those were. I'm sure. Let me see if I missed anybody else at 140 pounds that he fought, but I don't think any of those guys would fall into that category. Then you say you have a guy at 147 where you have Jeff Horn, no. Jose Benavidez, no. Amir Khan, definitely not when he fought him. Kell Brook, definitely not when he fought him. And Sean Porter, and I think Sean Porter is the big maybe right there. And so the question is, like, if you have to beat great fighters to get great, I mean, if you have to beat great fighters to be a great fighter, you know, have you really done that? And so I looked at him like, okay, it's Andre Ward, right? Andre Ward is in the Hall of Fame. Did Andre Ward do that? Well, yeah, he has Sergey Kovalev on. He has Sergey Kovalev there, right? You have Shane Mosley. Who did Shane Mosley have? Well, Shane Mosley has Oscar De La Hoya. Who does Oscar De La Hoya have? Well, Oscar De La Hoya may have Fernando Vargas. Well, at least some of these guys were older fighters when he did it, but he had Pernell Whitaker, he had Julio Cesar Chavez, but Pernell Whitaker is probably the one where he was still a champion and still in his prime, so he has that one where you could say he really beat somebody that was considered a great fighter. If you look at Errol Spence Jr., Errol Spence Jr. beat Kell Brook when he had his belts, but he did beat Sean Porter. He also beat Danny Garcia, who's a multi-divisional champion. However, I'm not saying that I know that Errol Spence Jr. is in the Hall of Fame either. But when I listened to Floyd say that, to me, it was more like, I don't know, man. And if Terence Crawford is really saying, that he can rest his laurels on that and expect to get in, I would tell you, man, just be real careful about that one, because, when Terence Crawford had won undisputed at 100 and became the undisputed champion at 140 pounds, right? He didn't get fight of the year. He got that over, Lomachenko got it that year. So, I just wouldn't put him 100 miles an hour in there. But I do think, man, if these guys fight one another, and this is my thing, if Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford fight each other and they have a great fight that really is in the memory of people, it win or lose for both of those guys, it may lock those guys into that, into the Hall of Fame, because that is the level of fight that, Floyd had with Oscar De La Hoya. It's the level of fight that Oscar De La Hoya had with Tito Trinidad and with Oscar, and we shoot even with Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins had that with Roy Jones Jr. And Oscar De La Hoya and Tito Trinidad, right? A lot of these guys really do have those things, and I just wonder, whether or not that really is the case for Terence Crawford, or if he is as comfortably ahead as he thinks, he should be. Now, if he winds up, however, not fighting Errol Spence, and he winds up going and fighting, if he's able to fight Jermell Charlo and beat Jermell Charlo for undisputed at 154, that very well may be it for him as well. But during his time at the welterweight division, he doesn't. I don't think he really fits that category that Floyd Mayweather Jr. was mentioning. But anyway, that's just food for thought. Definitely know neither Errol or Floyd are going to get, or Terence are going to get a shot at Floyd Mayweather Jr. And Floyd is going to continue to milk the cow, continue to milk the press, and do all of that stuff, right? Until just something catches up to him, right? And it would be unfortunate to see, but I think that's what's going to have to. That's what it's going to take before he stops, collecting these paychecks like he's doing out in Japan for the second time. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.